Welcome to NC Tweener Talks, powered by NC Idea, a weekly podcast by builders for builders, where we explore the startup journey from the idea to the exit and all the lessons in between, with an exclusive focus on founders from North Carolina. Now, here's your host, serial founder and general partner of the NC Tweener Fund, Scot Wingo.
First, a huge thank you to our platinum sponsor. NC Idea Foundation strengthens the economy of North Carolina through a strategic combination of grants and programs deployed directly and through a network of partners in furtherance of their vision to help people achieve their entrepreneurial potential. First, a huge thank you to our gold sponsors. Today, we are featuring Ballantine, turning success into significance. We help founders translate their wins into lasting family impact, so wealth fuels purpose, not pressure. We'd also like to recognize our silver sponsors. Today, we are featuring Bank of America. Bank of America's transformative tech group provides the stability and scalability that tech companies need to rapidly grow today and into the future. Thank you again to all of our sponsors for supporting the North Carolina Tweener Talks and the entire Tweener community. It takes an ecosystem to build a thriving community, and sponsors like these are invaluable. Welcome to this episode of North Carolina Tweener Talks. On April 9th, 2026, we had our first OpenClaw meetup in the Triangle area. It was sponsored by the North Carolina Tweener Fund, Refi Buy, and Automated Consulting Group. We're now affectionately calling the community that showed up our Tweener Claw community. We were substantially oversold for this event. We were really shocked by the appetite for more information on OpenClaw from folks that were new to the whole phenomenon to experts. We had a wide range of about 150 people show up for this event. Unfortunately, a lot of people missed it and were frustrated that they couldn't get a ticket because we were oversold, or they just weren't able to make it due to a previous commitment. Well, good news, we were able to get some recordings of 3 of the 4 talks, and we're going to be putting those out over the coming weeks as short video and audio podcasts. Up first, we have Corey Nida. The title of his talk is OpenClaw Auto Business, an experiment into OpenClaw's ability to turn a profit. What Corey did was explore a system of OpenClaw-powered agents that comb Reddit and other sources for business ideas, mostly software. It then will research those ideas, prioritize them, implement them, and launch proof of concepts or MVPs to see if it can generate revenue. It will then work to optimize that. And basically seeing if he can come up with a agent way of building a business. I learned a ton from this talk. I'm not going to spoil it by saying anything else. You're going to have to watch the talk. Also, the slides are provided in the Substack that accompanies this podcast. So I encourage you to download that before or after so you can kind of read along for what Corey covers. Learned a ton from this talk. I learned how to build agentic systems on OpenClaw. There was a lot of conversation around memory management, and Corey goes into that. There's a lot of talk in the world of AI-powered dev where what role does taste have, if it does, in building things, like user interfaces or even picking businesses, and much more. So I hope you enjoy this one. It's pretty short. It's basically a bite-sized little talk, kind of under 20 minutes. Hope you enjoy it.
I've had a small startup here, been in Corral region for the past 2 years, and the one thing I love more than anything is creative engineering. Coming into the past 6 months with OpenClaw, we have developed through and begin into the ability to share AGI as a concept. It's not there, but you can have multiple agents that speak with one another and interface. So the thing I can see at 3 a.m. every night from an engineering perspective is the ability for them to create things without engineering. And that includes direction. So I ended up coming down with concerns that we all love and started a call business. It's an external possibilities to turn a profit and a way through a democratic process. All right. So the hypothesis, if we were to give each of these agents API access, and its MCP tools properly designed agents, we'll be able to turn with profit relatively. Our goal was to give them isolated access in Vercel, Cloudflare, PostHub, GitHub, Twitter, Sucabase, Stripe, and Mercury and LinkedIn. That is a security nightmare for everybody here involved with it, so you think about security. Luckily for me, I was aware of that, and I made sure that I didn't do the wonderful thing of blood because blood. All right. So the goal. We wanted to become the first automated agency to dynamically generate profitable businesses and about 10K a month, right? That's a long reach. That's a long reach. But people who say they're crazy or the opinions of others think people are crazy. But you won't crazy. But want to go to Mars, right? So reach for the door or launch in space with little land. All right, so the goal is simple. We want to launch one product per day, no excuses, and then see and monitor traction. And this is how some instruments, right? So we defined the framework was original organic personalities. We had an orchestrator. This was kind of how Cron works. How many people here are familiar with Cron? All right. This is the tool that will keep our agents up and going in the middle of the night. Because if you don't have this, it just start talking. Even when you do that. So we go into the details later about that. We also have the dev design, pushing your programming, pushing your marketing, pushing everything better. Tell me what's wrong. The startups, one of the things with startups is the quicker you get it to this failure point, the quicker you can succeed. This illustrates that. Okay. Market specialist, market research styles. That's something we will go, an agent that will go out as MCP access with webs, and we will, and it goes and says, we have pain points. Is there a way to monetize this? Or how many competitors are out there? How can we get ahead? Right? And then we have the socialist. Socialist comes from the philosophy of building in public. A lot of traction can be natively done without advertisement if you just have the proper interaction with your customers. Even if the product's, workable. If you have traction and you work towards a better product, you see that, they love that, they grab a feature with stuff. And then we have the architect. That's the one that specializes in database design. What code's going to be implemented? Are we going to look at those things? Are we going to be multi-tenant architecture? How is security going to be held? These are the big high-level concepts. So we're going to continue on. We also have the traction monitor. The traction monitor was one of my favorites out of this experiment. We were able to integrate it in PostHub, and in 10 seconds, I was able to see a customer come onto our platform, rather it was mobile, rather it was on a desktop, rather it was on Xbox. It did not matter. These were frustrations, pain points, heat maps they had, and email them out instantly. Well, productivity, but so, and we have a customer advocate. That's where we're going to do the there's a worth piece as well. That's where we take the avenue of what the customer may want and what would be the easiest, the simplest way to get them to move forward. And that ties in directly to the traction monitor as well. And then we have the unblocker. This blocker doesn't interface publicly with external APIs. This checks in with other agents, and it says, hey, do you have any blockers and you need to develop something? Do you need your unblock? And create solutions, upgrade to what booms and I start. So, very high level generic bottom pipeline. So we can do market research, we can find page points, Twitter, Reddit, hack image, LinkedIn, etc. And we can say, how many copies of this exact thing, what do we have? Then we would go through and, can we monetize this? Can it be done cheap enough? Is there a cost extension to convert things? Then we get back to important see later, and that allows us to go to the second gate. So this is defines that. That's the product name, features, the pricing. This is the deep integrations that make a product unique whenever you have again, thousands of social media products out there. Individual make social media products, say thing they're raising, have their mini blend flavor, that's the valve second. Is a spec through each one of these states that you see as well. I get home flying from the city from best, but they this is the democratic process like I mentioned before. When we reach those, you have all those agents that I mentioned before voting. And if we have the majority that goes forward, and it's just that it moves forward. If not, it goes back and gets to everybody product. The second piece, the third piece, iterative code. We pretty much use Next.js scaffolding single base for cell. That's the easiest way to go. Why is that? That's because CLI has a wonderful thing that let us meet. I'm obviously either of the LSPs. Super good bit. And we plan out, hey, how are we monetizing this? What pages I need, what features are, and it'll iterate with quality mix until we have more than programs. Now, is this pretty? No. I prefer to have the creative touch, let me see it. Kids as well. Octic does a great job with general design, but there will always be a username that. And the last piece we have is validate. The wall test as we go through it and iterate each piece for marketing, branding, code generation, monetization, anything we're rating tests to pass those. And as long as every single one goes for because when it's the multiple work beyond the strike test payments, that's where we here is fortune strike. Yeah. So back to the instant payments that there's 10 versions of this on product that we've been implementing. Once we finish that, the last date is Q8 passed. One last product we have is the launch phase that I did not film with a slide, but I wanted to talk about it deeply. That's where we have our marketing bots, the Twitter. Twitter's the only one that, from an API perspective, allows it. Do I have the ability to do other ones? Absolutely, but we'll talk about that later. So some of the other ones I've done with these Fairbeans, started at LinkedIn, Facebook, and just sitting in the channel and interacting with the customers. You will not look at some of the things that people try to do. Look, they know that it's a bot. You don't ever try to fool someone as a bot. You always be forthright with that. But the things that they'll ask and things that they'll try to do can be very malicious. OpenClaw did a very, very good job at making sure that credentials aren't linked natively. I never prompted it to not link credentials at all. I never said, hey, don't be messing with base keys up. Hey, remember your IPs. Don't mention what we're doing inside. Don't talk about our infrastructure that can give someone a chance to gain an edge on us. It did that without me asking, which I'm very, very impressed. Find our daily niche. So here's some screenshots that I want to run you guys. We use Discord. I know we were talking, and we see how people do with some other chat platforms. We're Telegram, guys. Okay. And you have regulars announcing so the more back and forth is when from the decisions. And was people looking forward to something about telling. And this is our building process. This is talking about checks and balances going back and forth. And Stephen and Brayer, we have right here in progress, and it's the one very fixing it of a guy, so it pulling in Google set automat, adding it to average on DNS cheap cloud that are about this will press them. Launch and public, we'll make this sort of quick, and notice that it has the image generation. It created its own Docker container. Randomly noticed I had fun with great clocks in the cover of the book. Lessons learned, secure every context and full usage, bring them to challenge. I need to break the strats. Dress design, we better implementation. Integration with advertising, that's going to be majorly scaled with platform. We're so good about that. If you guys are out there, take the time and install Lobster workflows. That will save you hundreds of billions of context. Self-learning and knowledge transfer is the one technical of all real things that have. And POCs can tie in about a 30-minute route, so they to be achieved again, when we achieve 4x products like that, and that person getting achieved $1,000 in sales from them. I was happy with that. I didn't give her a chop of it afterwards when we refunded all our estimates and thank you for this experiment. We have multiple pieces that I'd like to talk about, but we're going to see. And anybody want to chat?
NC Tweener Talks is hosted by Scot Wingo, presented and produced by NC Tweener Fund, which is powered by NC Idea, with creative assets and design support from our friends at Walk West. That's it for today's episode. A big thank you to our guests, sponsors, and the team that makes this podcast possible. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves the startup stories coming out of the North Carolina Tweener Talks